So today we're going to be looking at how not to overwork your watercolours, and this is going to be useful for urban sketches because often, it's quite a simple process when it comes to watercolour with urban sketching. You only put down one or two different washes, but I'll be showing you how to keep things fresh and consistent. So today I'm using my Deep Light watercolours, and there is a 10% discount code you can find in the description if you're interested in those. So I'm just going to be using this mix here of French ultramarine and the magenta rosso colours. So this is one of the mistakes that a lot of beginners make when they're starting with watercolour, is they will often work quite slowly because they really want to be careful and make sure they're being really accurate. And then what they'll do, particularly with this paper, which is quite thirsty, is they'll wait a little bit too long with that bit down there. Now what's going to happen with that bit is that's going to dry, and drying is a really important part of watercolours really, because if you let something dry before you paint over it again, you can get a hard edge, and hard edges and soft edges is a big part of understanding how watercolour works. What happens if you go and revisit that area there and you paint over it is you'll probably get a hard edge form. It's not too bad on this one. So when you're painting an area with a wash, you want to be consistent and not let things dry too much. I think I've just about got away with it on that one because I didn't leave it too long. Actually, the other thing is if you think, oh, there's not enough pigment in there, I need to add some more colour. If you mix a little bit more pigment up and then you start adding it in, you're going to be, oh, there's a dot there. Oh, I didn't do that corner. Hold on, I'll put something in there. Or maybe I need a bit there or there. It's just going to start adding in inconsistencies, and what it's going to do is it's going to give you a lot of variation in that wash, which you might like, but it doesn't look quite as clean and fresh as a nice consistent wash. So revisiting a wash once you put it down can be a problem. I would recommend most of the time you just leave it be. So another common mistake that people often make, and we'll do the next one here, the same thing again but kind of adding water. Now I can show you how this looks. So I'm going to use some of this lovely purple pigment here. So again, I'm going to start at the top, make the way across up to here, and then I realise, oh god, I've run out of paint. So I'll use some water here, and what that does, it doesn't just dilute the paint. Is what it can do is it can introduce something called a backroom, and that floats the pigment out of the paper and sort of pushes it about a bit. So say for example, if you just added a dot of clean water there, you can see that backroom forming there, and the water's gone down, it's reactivating the paint and it's sort of pushing it out. So you end up with these, well, they call them cauliflowers, but these kind of like blob shapes. Another mistake that I see a lot of beginners making is they'll often use too small a brush. Incidentally, I was talking about how adding water does weird things. Well, if I was to take a drop of water from the end of this and just drop that on there, can you see? Now that's in the palette, but that's going to happen if you drop some water onto your paper, is it floats that pigment off and then pushes it to the side. Anyway, let's mix that back in. Okay, so if you're not using a big enough brush here, what you're doing straight away is you're having to go back to your wash because it just dries so quickly and you're having to go back up all the time. You see how long that lasts, and it's just going to introduce flaws and problems essentially. Whereas if you have, I'm using here this big mop brush, fill that really full of paint here, and because that hasn't dried, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the top, we're going to start again, and then we're going to go top to bottom like that, and that should give us a relatively consistent wash. So that's three of the things we want to talk about. There is one more here. So often another mistake I see people see is adding pigment directly into a wash. Now you can do that actually and get some really cool effects, but you need to be really confident and really bold when you do it. So there'll be a kind of really nice wash, and then people will, oh, I didn't spot that. And then instead of getting that paint, they'll go and grab a little bit of pigment, and then, oh, that's a bit blue, that bit, or that bit of pink. And again, if you're wanting that sort of effect, it can be really effective. But if you're adding pigment straight in there, you're not going to get that consistent wash. So if I want to get a nice consistent wash over a large area, and I want it to look nice and fresh and not overworked, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure, first of all, I've mixed enough paint, and I'm going to also make sure I'm using a nice big brush. So let's quickly do that. Oh, by the way, I am using a number 4 Artify mop brush here. I've got some board here and I've angled it up. Yeah, so it's angled up at about 15-20 degrees so that this bit of the paper here is slightly higher than this bit. It's worth understanding why you do that. But the reality is, when you work on a tilted board here, what happens is the paint runs down like this. So what you have at the bottom of that is a bead of water. So all your excess water flows down and forms in a bead. And by a bead, I mean, you know, it's a little bubble of water. And you can use that bead and you can chase that down. Make sure the brush is nice and full. And then I'm going to go up to this top corner here. And I'm going to go along. Now you can see that bead is forming already. And I don't want the brush to get too dry, so I'll keep going back there. Now can you see that bead? I'm not worrying too much about filling the shape perfectly. It's not really a demo of painting, it's more just how to get that wash really consistent. Now I could probably actually go all the way down here and just suck some of the pigment, just suck a bit of the pigment out of the brush, and then very, very gently just pour a tiny bit of that out there, like that. And there we go. So you're not introducing any other elements here, you're not introducing any water, it's just that wash. You can see here the pigment in the French ultramarine. That's what that is. You see, it creates this, it's a flocculating colour. It's not granulating, I believe it's flocculating, but there you go. Sounds vaguely rude, doesn't it? So this is the first example here of where we actually dried it out, but then sort of reactivated it. So you can't necessarily see that dried area there, but maybe there is a little bit of a line there. So this one we can see where we added water, and it's not great the way that it's created that shape there. So this one is where we've used too small a brush, and what's happened there is we've had to go over it, and it's created some inconsistencies, you can see there. And this one is where we've added more pigment, and as you can see, you've got a bit of a hot spot there. And again, it's just a little bit not consistent. And then finally, we have this big wash we did with the large mop brush. You can see because of the heavier pigment from the French ultramarine, it's created quite a sort of granulated pattern there, which is quite interesting. But you can see the one thing it is consistent all the way down. So let's zoom out a little bit and have another look at those. Now, because of the way that this has been on the paper, there is, again, more pigment gathered at the end there. Can you see that? Because it's all gone downhill. So you can actually reduce that by letting that dry slightly upside down. And what it'll do is it'll just make that a tiny bit softer. So as you can see there, there's many ways to overwork a piece. And often it actually comes from applying too many layers as well. When you're building up this transparent media to create shadows or dark areas or textures, often it actually just comes down to how not to apply too many layers, because as soon as you put too many layers on the top, it kills it. So as a final point, I would say try and stick to, as a beginner, try and stick to sort of three layers of watercolor, because it will really teach you how to mix your pigment at the right consistency. You know, don't go and put like 7 or 8 layers on something, because it's probably going to kill it. It wants to have some transparency and some life and energy about it, really. So I hope you found that useful. and we'll be doing more watercolours coming up. There's a fundamentals course coming up, and do like and subscribe. Check out my Patreon, where for $6 a month you can get access to every single lesson that I've ever done, and chat with me and chat with the other people on there. It's really cool. So yeah, we'll see you again. Thank you. Bye bye.